The moon landings of the Apollo missions represent a monumental achievement in human history. Or do they? Controversies and questions persist, particularly about the fate of the original lunar recordings and whether the landings themselves were authentic. Over the decades, debates about missing high-quality tapes and alleged anomalies in the recorded footage have fueled speculation that the moon landings might have been staged. Examining some of this evidence, we explore the story of the missing tapes, the technology of the era, and the broader implications of the Apollo program. Wait to hear this. The Apollo lunar missions employed cutting-edge technology for their time. This included special TV cameras that transmitted a rare, slow-scan television signal directly back to the Earth, and this scan was known as SSTV. And it was these raw transmissions that were of far superior quality than what was ultimately broadcast to the public via NTSC, which was the standard television format of the time. The raw SSTV signals were recorded on high quality telemetry tapes at NASA ground stations. But in a shocking twist, these original recordings have never been located. According to NASA, the tapes were likely reused during a period of budget constraints and data storage shortages in the 1980s. As one observer noted, the only tapes that we have decided to keep, apparently, were recorded off of TV screens, and it was okay to keep these lower quality recordings. Thus, the public has been left with grainy, lower resolution footage of one of humanity's greatest ever achievements. And it's this absence of high definition evidence that has fueled speculation and suspicion about the authenticity of the Apollo missions. The missing tapes are only part of the story. For some skeptics, the photographic and video evidence available today raises questions about the landings' authenticity. For example, one commentator observed, in old 1970s books, one or two very superior colour photos supposedly from the moon seemed too good. They pointed out that the lighting and colours in these photos appeared too perfect, while the absence of deep background detail seemed unnatural for a lunar environment. These anomalies have led some to speculate that the footage may have been pre-recorded or staged on the Earth. Skeptics have suggested that filming on Earth, perhaps in a controlled environment like a hangar or on Heron Island, would have been far safer and more manageable than attempting to document a real mission on the moon. As one theory posits, the raw tapes, the SSTV tapes, provide damaging evidence of filming inside the supposed hangar in New Mexico, as this would be more apparent if viewed in HD. Such claims rest on the belief that high definition analysis might expose inconsistencies such as artificial lighting or set-like conditions. Supporters of the Apollo missions argue that the lunar landings were observed and verified by numerous independent witnesses, including astronomers who tracked the spacecraft using radio telescopes. They contend that the missions involved tens of thousands of people, from engineers to contractors, making a conspiracy of this magnitude nearly impossible to maintain. However, skeptics counter that while astronomers picked up the radio signals and tracked the craft's trajectory, these observations did not confirm that the missions were manned or that the landings occurred as claimed. As one critic noted, one person saw one aspect and another person saw another aspect. Activity was occurring, but who saw the entire mission from start to finish? Nobody. Another contentious issue is the motive for the Apollo program itself. While the official narrative emphasised lunar exploration and scientific discovery, skeptics argue that the primary driver was geopolitical. The Apollo missions unfolded during the height of the Cold War, when the United States and the Soviet Union were locked in a fierce competition to demonstrate technological and ideological superiority. As some have noted over the years, the true motive was to beat the Soviet Union in the space race and to show the American people that we have won. Given this immense pressure to succeed, some suggest that the United States government might have considered staging the landings to ensure the programme's success and to justify NASA's substantial budget. Skeptics also point to the inherent risks of filming on the moon itself. The lunar environment is hostile and unpredictable, with extreme temperatures, radiation, and the constant threat of technical failure. Why on earth risk filming on the actual moon when everything possible can and will go wrong, when one can merely film on Earth and make it look very convincing? This argument suggests that simulating the landings on Earth might have been a more practical solution to achieve the programme's objectives. The Apollo moon landings remain a source of immense pride for humanity, but the disappearance of the original high-quality recordings has left an unfortunate gap in this historical record. While there is no definitive evidence to prove that the moon landings were staged, the questions raised by skeptics highlights the importance of preserving key historical artefacts. Whether one believes in the authenticity of the Apollo missions or questions their veracity, the legacy of this era underscores humanity's capacity for innovation, ambition, and perhaps even a touch of intrigue. In the videos and photographs of the moon landings, the American flag appears to flutter as if being blown by wind, and since the moon has no atmosphere, skeptics argue this suggests that the footage was filmed on planet Earth. Photographs and videos taken on the lunar surface show no stars in the sky, leading skeptics to believe that the footage was filmed on a sound stage, or adding realistic stars would have been very difficult. Shadows in the photographs do not run parallel and appear to have different lengths. This suggests the use of multiple light sources, as one would find in a studio setup. On the moon, with the sun as the only light source, shadows should be uniform. The lunar module's descent engine did not leave a blast crater on the lunar surface, which some argue would be expected from the thrust of the engine during the landing. Reflections in the astronauts' visors show objects that skeptics claim look like studio lights or crew members not wearing spacesuits. Furthermore, it has been suggested that the slow motion effect of astronauts hopping around on the moon could have been faked by filming in slow motion back on the Earth.